Once a dominant force in the industry, the Kwai Tsing Container Terminal, which used to handle 80% of Hong Kong's container throughput, now lies in decline. In the terminal's parking lot, rows of rusting trucks sit idle as cargo volume has plunged by 70%. Mr. Chen, a truck owner and driver, said business had shown no improvement over the past 5 years. He said from January until now, there has been nothing to do. It's not just a 30% drop. 60 to 70% of the business is completely gone. The accounting books are all in the red and everyone is suffering massive losses. According to Mr. Chen, more than 40 to 50 internal container trucks in the Kwai Tsing terminal are currently sitting idle due to a lack of work. He also pointed out that after several countries stopped recognizing the Made in Hong Kong label, transshipment container traffic has taken a severe hit. Another truck owner, Mr. Learn, shared a similar experience. He once owned nearly 20 container trucks, but that number has now dwindled to just 6 or 7. Before the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, a single ocean-going vessel arriving in Hong Kong could bring in 1,000 to 2,000 containers for him to transport. However, since returning from the Lunar New Year holiday this year, fewer than 100 containers have arrived. He added that it's not only truck owners seeing their business shrink, many drivers are also struggling with a significant reduction in working hours. He said, I used to work almost every day before the pandemic, but now I only get about 20 working days a month. He added, there are far fewer ships docking in Hong Kong now. You see those cranes standing upright? That means no ships are coming. When a ship arrives, the cranes would lower to start unloading. An anonymous survey revealed that 8 of the world's top 10 shipping companies have developed Hong Kong exit plans and are waiting for the right time to implement them. These plans include gradually reducing the number of ships registered in Hong Kong and relocating headquarters and key operations to neutral locations such as Singapore and Dubai. Shipping data from vessels value shows that in just 2 years, the number of Hong Kong flagged vessels has dropped from 2,580 to 2,366, an 8% decline. Between 2023 and 2024, 74 bulk carriers, tankers, and container ships abandoned the Hong Kong flag, switching to Singapore and the Marshall Islands. UK-listed company Taylor Maritime and Hong Kong-based Pacific Basin Shipping are both quietly preparing relocation plans. Ship owners are concerned about potential risks. A senior executive at a European shipping firm privately admitted that if a conflict were to break out in the Taiwan Strait, ships flying the Hong Kong flag would immediately be viewed as hostile targets. The executive emphasized that this was not an exaggeration but a serious survival issue. Investors often sense risk before the general public. Billionaire Li Ka-shing saw the warning signs early and sold off 43 ports, including 2 located along the Panama Canal. In a $22.8 billion deal, he sold all 43 ports across 23 countries, along with 199 berths, smart terminal management systems, and a global logistic network to US-based BlackRock Group. The only assets he kept were the Hong Kong terminals and Yantian ports in Shenzhen.
交易完成后，贝莱德将掌控全球10.4%集装箱吞吐量。
After the deal was finalized, BlackRock took control of 10.4% of the world's container throughput, making it one of the top 3 port operators globally. One analyst put it bluntly, Li Ka-shing's survival strategy is simple. He always packs up and leaves before the storm hits.
Adding to the woes, Donald Trump made a stunning announcement on March 6, vowing to significantly expand the U.S. shipbuilding industry in a bid to restore the country's leadership in global shipping. According to an exclusive report by Reuters, he is planning to sign an executive order.
美国先做死了。
The US just flipped the table, and the global shipping industry is in an uproar. Any cargo ship flying the Chinese flag now has to pay a hefty $1.5 million entry fee to dock in the US. And it doesn't stop there. Even if a ship is registered under a third country, if its core technology or key components come from China, it still won't escape this expensive admission ticket. The first ship to be fined was technically a Greek-registered cargo vessel. On the surface, it flew the Greek flag, but everything from its navigation system to its propulsion, from its radar to its communication equipment, all came from China. This is the first time the United States has taken direct action against the Chinese Communist Party's ambitions to control global shipping. According to the plan released by the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, USTR, the U.S. will implement a three-tiered fee system. The first tier targets Chinese ship owners. All vessels operated by Chinese shipping companies will be required to pay up to $1 million per entry into a U.S. port, or $1,000 per net ton. In simple terms, if a company like Costco sends a ship to the US, it must first pay this fee. The second tier applies to companies using China-built ships. Even if a company is not Chinese, it will still have to pay fees if its fleet includes vessels made in China. The charge can go up to $1.5 million. For example, if a company owns 100 ships and 10 of them were built in China, it would have to pay $150,000 each time its fleet docks at a US port. If all its ships were made in China, the maximum fee of $1.5 million would apply. The third tier targets companies that plan to purchase Chinese-built ships in the future. In addition to paying fees for existing vessels, companies will also be charged for planned purchases. If a company intends to order new ships from Chinese shipyards within the next 24 months, it will have to pay an additional prepayment fee of up to $1 million. For instance, if a company has already paid $150,000 for the 10 existing China-built ships and then orders 10 more, it would need to pay an extra $100,000. This measure is designed to cut off future business between global shipping companies and Chinese shipbuilders. At the same time, the US has introduced an incentive. Companies using American-built ships will not be subject to these fees and could receive rebates of up to $1 million. This approach, combining penalties and incentives, aims to weaken China's position in the global shipbuilding industry. On February 21st, the USTR announced that a hearing will be held on March 24th to discuss restrictions on China's maritime logistics and shipbuilding industries. These measures stem from findings of a Section 301 investigation. Section 301 refers to a provision in the U.S. Trade Act of 1974 that allows Washington to impose unilateral sanctions in response to unfair trade practices by other countries. Originally part of the 1962 Trade Expansion Act, it has been amended multiple times and is considered a key trade enforcement tool for the U.S. This particular Section 301 investigation was led by the United Steelworkers Union and backed by 5 other labor unions, including the Alliance of American Manufacturing. The investigation report released on January 16, 2024, detailed how the Chinese Communist Party has distorted the global shipping market. From 2020 to 2024, the CCP poured $126 billion into subsidies and low-interest loans for the shipping and shipbuilding sectors, 2.7 times the total subsidies provided by all other countries combined. China State Shipbuilding Corporation received $47 billion in government subsidies over 5 years, while Costco received $38 billion. A report by the Wall Street Journal found that China's 3 largest shipbuilders had a cost-to-revenue ratio of 121%, meaning they spent 121 yuan to build a ship that sold for just 100 yuan. Under normal market conditions, these companies would not be financially viable, but continued state support has fueled their aggressive global expansion. China's shipbuilders and shipping firms also benefit from hidden advantages such as land, financing, and labor costs. Chinese shipyards receive land allocation from the government at little or no cost, whereas shipbuilders in South Korea and Japan must purchase or lease land at market rates. Financing costs are also significantly lower. Chinese state-owned banks offer interest rates 2 to 3 percentage points below international rates, with some loans even approaching zero interest. Labor costs in China are also much lower than in South Korea and Japan, with wages only 1/4 to 1/3 of what shipyard workers earn in those countries. Additionally, through the Belt and Road Initiative, the CCP has pressured developing countries into buying Chinese ships, effectively turning these deals into indirect export subsidies. As a result, China's dominance in global shipbuilding has severely disrupted the industry's supply and demand balance. In 2024, China accounted for 57% of global ship completions, 74% of new orders, and 63% of the global order backlog. In the high-end markets such as LNG carriers, Chinese shipbuilders secured more than 60% of new orders. However, continued subsidies are adding pressure to China's already strained finances. Conservative estimates show that Chinese shipyards and shipping companies have a debt ratio of 67%, much higher than the global average. If US policies take effect, these debts could quickly turn into a systemic risk. A former Chinese Ministry of Finance official analyzed the situation, stating that the CCP is now in a dilemma. If it stops subsidies, its past efforts will be wasted. If US sanctions continue, China's shipbuilding industry could eventually collapse. A veteran shipping analyst predicted that small and mid-sized Chinese shipyards and shipping firms will be the first to fall, followed by steel companies that rely on Chinese shipbuilding orders, and then the banks that finance the industry. This could trigger a chain reaction. Why is the US imposing these sanctions on China's shipbuilding and shipping industries? The issue goes beyond commercial competition. A classified document leaked in 2023 revealed that the CCP requires all commercial ships built in China to be designed for rapid conversion into warships during wartime. In fact, as early as 2015, the CCP publicly mandated that Chinese shipbuilders factors in military modifications when designing tankers, bulk carriers, and container ships. A video analysis on TikTok demonstrated in detail how this could be done.
Imagine turning an ordinary cargo ship into a warship. This vessel was equipped with almost an entire destroyer's weapon system: radar, artillery, air defense missiles, and anti-ship missiles. All it takes is a tarp to cover everything up, and it looks just like a regular cargo ship, making it easy to move unnoticed and get close to its target.
According to maritime intelligence sources, the CCP has established commercial ship militarization centers in multiple coastal cities. These facilities can convert civilian cargo ships into military transport vessels within 48 hours. Four international security experts, along with Chinese military analysts, have openly stated that in the event of a military conflict, the CCP will immediately requisition commercial vessels. Despite public concerns over the US unilateral actions, many countries have privately expressed relief. A European Union official noted, "For years, everyone has seen the problem, but no one wants to be the first to take action. Now that the US has disrupted this balance, other countries are reassessing their cooperation with China in the shipping sector, and international shipping companies are reconsidering their dependence on China's supply chain." Since the policy was announced, the share of new ship orders placed with Chinese shipyards by international shipping firms has dropped from 78% to 43%. Several major European and Japanese shipping companies have also begun looking for alternatives to Chinese technology. Australia has tightened its review of Chinese companies acquiring domestic ports. Even some African nations, which had long welcomed China's shipping expansions, are now reassessing the long-term impact of these projects. On March 4th, Trump announced the Congress that starting April 2nd, the US would impose reciprocal tariffs on China, effectively launching a full-scale economic confrontation. During a broadcast on March 5th, 2025, US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth stated, "Those who long for peace must prepare for war." China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded swiftly. During a press briefing on March 6, spokesperson Ling Jian stated, "Whether it is a tariff war, a trade war, a cold war, or a hot war, none can be fought and none can be won." The ongoing shipping crisis and rising geopolitical tensions have shaken global financial markets. On February 2025 alone, over $82 billion in capital fled from Hong Kong and mainland China, the highest level in 5 years. Wall Street's Fear Index surged to 23.5 points on March 4th, the highest in 2 months, as investors rush towards safe haven assets. In the Philippines and Japan, prices for rice, flour, and soybean oil spiked by 13%. The Japanese yen and South Korean won depreciated rapidly, fueling market panic. In his annual shareholder letter in February, Warren Buffett issued a rare warning and even advised shareholders to sell quickly in March. Known for avoiding gold investments, Buffett made a surprising move. His company, Berkshire Hathaway, quietly purchased $1.8 billion worth of physical gold, sending shockwaves through financial circles. Gold prices surged, surpassing $2,400 per ounce in early March, a record high. Central banks in Poland and Germany also ramped up gold reserves. German Finance Minister Christian Lindner recently warned that a financial crisis, military conflict, and economic war could all occur simultaneously, and emphasized that all of us need to be prepared. With the Hong Kong flag being abandoned, the US-China trade war escalating, and rising tensions in the Korean Peninsula, and the South China Sea, the world is at a historic crossroads. Geopolitical shifts are happening quietly, the era of global stability is fading, and uncertainty looms over international markets. The global shipping industry's exodus from Hong Kong is a strong signal of trust, or lack thereof, in China. Sam Williams, CEO of Taylor Maritime, said there is an unwritten rule in the industry. Ship owners should never register their vessels under a country that could be at war tomorrow. As the Hong Kong flag is rapidly cast aside, an era may be coming to an end. In these turbulent waters, the storm is only just the beginning.